Hello, I'm Layla. I grew up with the best parents an only child could ever ask for. In my mind, I always thought of my parents as my big brother and sister. Life was calm and sweet until everything came clashing down. As a teen, I was so excessive to the point that I didn't take no for an answer. I got all I asked from my parents, but I was never satisfied for some reason, and I kept feeling unfulfilled. That's why I kept asking for more. On the eve of my 15th birthday, I had a huge argument with my dad over whether or not I should go out. After things got really heated, I told him I hated how he treated me and furiously ran to my room and shut the door so hard the house reverberated from the anger inside me. After a while, I heard a loud bang come from my parents' room that put some fear into me. I strolled towards the room, feeling my anger slip into my fingers, and opened the door. Nothing prepared me for the sight. I saw my dad on the floor. My heart sunk. Mom was scrambling, jerking him, and ran to call the neighbors. It happened too fast. Or I'll say my visions were blurred from the tears and the trauma that plagued my mind. Did I have something to do with it? Months have passed since we lost Dad to the heart attack. My first real taste of life's bitter whip. We managed to get things in order, so to speak. Mom was working about 2 to 3 jobs. I really don't know. I see her most nights exhausted, passed out on the couch. After Dad's death, I was pretty much out of sorts. Picture the narcissistic teenager who just lost her dad. I was deeply shut out from everything and everyone. I felt angry at myself and everyone I know. Most times I was angry at my mom. She was always too busy for me, always said she had to work, and despite her working full time, she barely provided me with the money I needed. Like one time, I was dying to learn piano with my friends. And when I told Mom, she said that she'll register me at the arena near us, which was a really horrible place. It was too public, and I hated that. I wanted private lessons. However, my mom refused and said that private lessons were expensive. I was really angry with her, because I was sure she could afford it. If Dad were here, he would have agreed to pay for the lessons. I stormed right out before tears well up in Mom's eyes. The following week, I was already learning piano. It felt good, but as usual, Mom wasn't around on most Saturdays. Despite allowing me to have private lessons, I still struggled to get my mom to pay me for stuff. She always wanted me to buy whatever is on sale, and I hated it. I wanted the best pieces, like my friends, but she was a total buzzkill. Weeks later, things really got out of hand. My friends and I were excited for the biggest concert of the year, and then it came again. My mom and her magic ability to ruin everything. She went on and on about how much money she was spending on me and that she couldn't afford a concert ticket. After days of arguing, it was obvious that she wasn't planning to buy me the ticket, and I was running out of time. I wasn't gonna take no for an answer. So, the night before the concert, I went into my mom's room while she was sleeping, and I took $100 from her wallet and bought the ticket the very next day. I told Mom that I'm spending the night over at Melissa's, and I went to the concert with my friends. It was awesome. Mom had no idea what I did, and I'm sure she didn't even notice the money was gone. Since then, it became my new way of doing things. When Mom fell asleep, I sneaked in, grabbed some money for her wallet, and left the room. It was amazing for some time like this, until at some point, I didn't find any money in her wallet anymore. It only had cards and some cents. I didn't really understand. I thought that she might be suspecting that I was stealing from her. She must be hiding them somewhere else. I waited for my mom to go to work, and as soon as she did, I went to her room to look for money. I opened her closet, and the first thing I noticed was how worn out her clothes looked. I couldn't help but notice that I had much nicer stuff than my mom did, which actually seemed kind of weird. I never really thought about it much, but I hardly saw my mom ever buying anything for herself. But it can't be. She worked 2 jobs, and it was only me and her in the house. The more I thought about it, the more I started to understand that my mom was sacrificing a lot just to keep me happy. And in return, I stole her money. I felt horrible. I had about $160 hidden in my room, and I couldn't wait to give it back to her. I took the money and I left the house to go meet her where she works. She was on a shift in a nearby cafe that I never really went into. I walked up there and I saw my mom through the glass doors. She looked tired and upset. She was speaking to the owner when I came in, and I stood behind her waiting until she finishes. I couldn't help but overhear what they were talking about. My mom was asking the owner to loan her some money, which she was going to pay him back later, and the owner was refusing. I heard him say that she's always late to give him his money back and that her paycheck cannot cover it all. Oh God, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What did I do to my mother? I felt like the most selfish being in earth at that moment. Before they finished, I hurried up to my mom and I hugged her and cried without saying a word. She was surprised to see me there, but she hugged me anyway. We then sat down to talk. I told her about everything I did. As I was drowning in tears, I apologized, and I gave her back the money that I took from her. Mom looked shocked, and I was sure she'd blow up in my face, but she didn't. Instead, she said that she excused me all this time for the things that I was doing because she knew how much Father's death has affected me. She didn't know how she could help me get over it, and the money seemed like the only thing that made me happy. I promised her that I will stop being that selfish and will try to help as much as I can. I told her I really appreciate what she does for me. She hugged me and said she only wants me to be happy and considerate. I promised I will be one.